Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. On this episode, we're going to talk about doing favors for people. I recently watched something on TikTok about doing favors and how people were just adverse to doing favors for other people. And I'm thinking, you know what? I don't do favors for people. I take action and I do tasks that are going to benefit me. And I am not a narcissist. I am here to help make people make those meaningful relationships. And I think that this is the key to helping people connect more authentically. And it's not this self-centered, self-servingness that is shown throughout the US as, you know, those are the kind of people as narcissism. It's not quite that. It's something a little different. And I want to show you how powerful and important it is. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, so you're selfish, you're narcissistic, you're rude, you don't care about anybody, you just do whatever you want, and you're not thinking about anybody else but yourself. And I'd be like, yup. Yup. No, come on. Like, it is sort of like that. And I want to break it down. I want to parse out those pieces so that we can be a little clear about this, because I don't do things at the expense of other people. Because that's just not my character. I don't enjoy seeing people suffer and seeing people hurt around me. What I mean to say is that I do things in my own best interest. I'm always just filling up my own cup first, right? I'm always making sure that I have enough for me, and then that overflow is abundance and it's enough for other people. Put my oxygen mask on first. However many sayings there are for that, but there are so many, and it's true. You really have to take care of yourself first. And so this is what I mean when I say I don't do favors for people. If I look at the word favors, I really think that it is something that we use to, or this is what I think about favors, rather, using my own definition, because I haven't looked it up or anything. But as I know it, I think I'm doing a task, or I'm expending energy at my expense. Like, I'm doing something that won't benefit me, that doesn't feel good to me, and that I don't like for somebody else. That's what I think of as favor. Because people are like, will you do me a favor? Take me to the airport. Will you do me a favor? Will you help me move? Like, things that just will put me at a disadvantage, or not necessarily at a disadvantage, but in a position in which is uncomfortable for me. Will you stay late and help me do some extra work? Will you do this for me? Will you do that for me? It's taking. That's the sentiment that I get from it. And I don't want people taking things from me. No one gets to take my energy. No one gets to take your energy. You give it freely. You give it freely if you so desire. And when you do that, when you're in that mindset of giving it freely, the way you desire, it's going to be totally different. It won't feel like a favor. So I say all that to say is that when my cup is overflowing, when I'm abundant, when I have time, I will give. It's not a favor. And furthermore, I have this idea that, well, there are people out there who benefit from my actions. There are people out there who I want to see successful, who are close to me, and they will benefit from my actions. How it benefits me is that if I'm around people who are doing well, who are feeling good, who are amazing, who feel love and appreciation, if I'm around those people, then I'm also going to feel that. If I do something, if I complete a task, if I show support or love pouring from my overflowing cup to help someone in need who has asked me for something, they will do better. And I will do better because I'm surrounded by people who are doing better, who are feeling good. It is in my best interest to help these people feel good. But only when I have the capacity to do so. I'm never putting myself at a disadvantage. Because if I do that, if I'm at a disadvantage and I'm angry about the tasks that I'm doing, the favor that I'm performing, and I don't want to. I'm mad about it. I'm resentful about it. I really don't want to be the person who is resentful in this relationship with you, because that's going to ruin our relationship. I want to be able to have strong boundaries and preserve my energy. So that's why I say I don't do favors. If I'm feeling exhausted, let's say, because you might be thinking this, I'm feeling exhausted and they want to ride to the airport at 4:00 in the morning. And I'm like, man, you don't really have anybody else to take you? I want to sleep. I got stuff to do in the morning. If I sit up there and I drive them to the airport, I need to let that resentment go. There needs to be no resentment. I really need to find out how it benefits me ASAP before I even agree to it. I got to be like, I can't be disgruntled and angry. They'll never have their stuff together. They could have got a lift to the airport. They're being so cheap. They're not even paying for my gas. And I'm thinking all these terrible things or frustrating things about them, negative oriented things. And I don't want that. That's just going to float around in my relationship with them. I need to think about how it benefits me to go at 4:00 in the morning to take them to the airport. I need to think about how I'm supporting my friend and doing something that is really important to them. It is not at my expense. It's because even though I'm exhausted, I'm doing this because I want them to be well and I benefit from them being well. And there's nothing else to it. There's no resentment underneath that. None. If you can't get to that point, then they don't get a ride to the airport. If I can't get to that point, then they don't get a ride to the airport. People have tried to push extra work and things on to me too, like asking me to do extra things, and I'm like, I just do not have the capacity to do so, and I do not have a problem saying no to you. And here's the reason why you shouldn't have a problem. Why I hope that you wouldn't have a problem saying no. Like it's beneficial. It's definitely helping your relationship and dealing with that underlying resentment. But you're going to see that these people that are around you, they also have your best interest in mind. They know that they don't want anybody in their circle pouring from an empty cup because it breeds resentment. They know that. So they're not going to ask you when you say no. I can't. They're going to be like, please, why? I don't know why. No, I can't. I won't do it. They don't want you to do anything that doesn't benefit you, doesn't feel good to you, because they'll be in a circle full of people who resent them. You see how that works? It always benefits you to speak your truth. Sometimes it's just difficult to find how it does, because we immediately see people's reactions to us. No, you can't take me. You're so self-centered. You're such a jerk. I need you this one time. And you know how important this is to me. Like, whoa. I don't live my life for you. I do things that benefit me. And because I do things that benefit me, you get the best of me. So, don't do favors for people. All right? Hey, Patterns of Possibility fam. If you'd like a little more guidance and hands-on support, then I've got great news. You can hire me as your own personal coach. Go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to apply for individual or group coaching. In this 12-week program, I'm going to help you make the meaningful connections that you deserve. After this coaching program, I promise you'll be able to do 3 things. One, you'll be able to clearly identify who belongs in your tribe and who doesn't. Say goodbye to those people who are wishy-washy, you're unsure of. No, you will know for certain whether or not they deserve to be in the same space with you. And second, you are going to know that your thoughts and feelings are valid and worth expressing. So if you do have feelings about your friends not holding up boundaries or not holding up space for you or not meeting your needs, then you are not going to shy away from telling them. You will be able to communicate your boundaries in a clear, concise manner and advocate for yourself in your relationships. And finally, you are going to learn how to start and stop conversations with strangers and steer them towards topics that are interesting and important to you. I don't know about you, but I don't have weeks, months, years to discover whether or not me and my new friend have compatible values. If you know what you're looking for, you can discover if you're compatible in just a few conversations. If all this sounds good to you and you're ready to make those meaningful connections, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. Again, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. I look forward to working with you. Now it's time for your listener letters. If you have burning questions about your friendships and your platonic relationships with your coworkers and so forth, let me know. Write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com, and I might just read your letter out loud. I'm hoping I get some advice here. By being too sensitive, I'm trying not to place any blame on anyone before I start this, but I have a friend who I consider my best friend for about 7 years. She just moved to another state, kind of across the country, about 3 years ago, but we've kept in close contact. Right now, I have some resentment. And I know that these are all my decisions and I'm grown, but I feel like she was not a good friend to me. I found out that I was pregnant and it was extremely unexpected because I was on birth control religiously. And I was in total shock. I ended up getting an abortion at 6 weeks. And she was one of the only people I told. And she pretty much was in agreement for me to get an abortion and not tell me to weigh my options or anything, because I was with my boyfriend and I still am for 3 years. And thinking about it now, I feel like she should have been more open to me getting some mental help before I made such a big decision, especially since she knew that she was the only person that I was telling, besides my boyfriend. But also, I have a son that she never acknowledges on his birthday or gets him any presents. I don't know if I'm being petty, but I hold a lot of resentments for this decision that I made irrationally. I know it is my decision at the end of the day, but it is just not how I feel like a friend should talk to somebody in a very fragile state of mind. Does anyone have any advice? Am I being overly sensitive? This was about 5 months ago. Thank you, and this is very hard for me because I don't talk about this to anybody. I was in such a shock and terrible mental space, and she was totally for me to end the pregnancy and not telling me to talk about it. I really don't think I would do that to someone who's put in a position wherever they choose to be more supportive. I think I would have chose to be more supportive is what she's saying. Okay, yeah. So, wow. It sounds like you are mad at your friend because they were not supportive of you and you needed a different kind of support from them. And you went and you took their advice, and now you're upset because they didn't say the thing that you wanted them to say to you. This is how it sounds to me. This is how it sounds. And there, of course, there are pieces that is missing because it's your experience. These are things that you have gone through. You were feeling something and you were hoping for something. And I use those words something because I don't really know. Like, I cannot describe what it is that you were looking for. Well, actually, let me go back and try that. You were looking for her to give you some advice that would satiate you, and you thought that she gave you some advice that would satiate you, or that it felt good. She agreed with you. You agreed with her. And looking back, you're like, oh, this wasn't good. This wasn't good advice. That's what it sounds like to me, of the outsider looking in. I wonder about this because We really do rely on our friends to help us see things that we can't see. They are our second pair of eyes. They are a whole new life experience for us, and we trust them to tell us the truth. We trust them to give us the best of the best with the best intentions in mind. Like it is to their benefit to help us. It is to their benefit to see us doing well. And what I'm picking up here is that you're looking back at the relationship or the conversation that you had or the advice, and you're like, well, what they said wasn't in my best interest. It wasn't for me. It hurt me at the end of the day. Did they do it on purpose? You didn't say that, but I'm thinking that might be a thought that comes in. They could have done better. Maybe that's a better thought. They could have done better. Will they give me such crappy advice? Aren't I a good friend to them? Don't I matter to them? Here's another way that they're not being helpful. Look at my other son, how they mistreat my other son. How they don't acknowledge his birthday or get him presents. I'm resentful. Of course you would be. You'd be resentful. You thinking that your friend was supposed to be supportive. This is a difficult one because it requires you to really release this idea that your friend does everything for you. Like, she gave you the best that she could possibly give you. She gave you that insight, that information. She answered the phone call. She supported you. She held you in confidence. She didn't tell anybody else, and probably was something that you wanted her to do, is to hold it in confidence. And I want you to consider that your friend doesn't know everything. Your friend doesn't know what is best for you, but you would know best what's best for you. You're starting to feel it right now, like, wow, it probably wasn't in my best interest to go through with this. And I know that you, at the beginning, you said that you were trying not to place blame on anyone before you start this, but it sounds like you are doing it. Just because you had that little preface up there doesn't mean that it's not actually happening. You're trying not to, but you are. You're looking at this person saying they should have given you some better advice, or they should have supported you in some way. I want to say that your friend doesn't live for you. They have their own priorities. They have their own points of view. And so do you. And so do you. And with that said, it is very helpful to surround ourselves with other people who can counsel us. Not just this one person who has distanced themselves, who is far away from you. I'm not saying that they moved because of you, but they're a distance away from you all the way across the country. It's time to get more people in our life who can counsel you, who you can go to a second opinion, a third opinion, who can definitely trust, or you can definitely trust, who will give you some sound advice. And really, it's only advice. At the end of the day, you get to consider other people's opinions. You get to consider their thoughts and what they would do, and you try it on to see whether it's right for you, because you're the one that makes the decision. I want to ask you to give your friend a bit of slack and say that, and consider that she doesn't live for you and doesn't know what is best for you. She's given you her best from her own opinions or her own life experiences, and it's your job to be able to discern whether or not you want to apply that to your life. With that said, though, if there's resentment in the relationship, it is worth having a conversation about. It's worth having a conversation about. It sounds like there's something else here, though. Like, like, if you're resentful of the fact that she didn't give you the best advice and you took it, then it seems like you're holding her responsible for that. And I know there's resentment here, and I'm just like, there's something to work past, and maybe it's not telling and blaming them, but maybe it sounds like, look, friend, I don't know why, but I'm really resentful of me taking this advice that you gave me. And I know that I want you to come from and when you're talking to your friend, I want you to come from this place where you were saying that, look, I really relied on you for some advice, and I know you did the best that you can, the best that you could, and I appreciate your support, but I feel like it was the wrong thing, and I feel so resentful that I took this. I'm angry that I took this advice, and I don't know where else to direct it but at you. And I just want to spend some time alone to figure out what's causing this, or maybe you could help me talk it out, or you got to talk to somebody else about it, because I don't think it'd be easy for you to talk to her because she's the object of your resentment. And she's like, well, I did the best that I could. I don't know what you wanted me to do. And you'll be like, I don't know what I wanted you to do either. I wanted you to give me better advice. Well, I gave you the best that I could. It was up to you to take it. Can you just hear that conversation happening? Can you hear that argument happening? I can hear it already. And so we don't want to do that. We want to keep it nice and level and make sure everybody still feels heard. But it's obvious you're in pain and you need some more support. That's really the key. It seems like you need some more support other than this one friend and the boyfriend. But please, 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 please don't go blaming her and saying you're a bad friend and you should have done better for me. That's one surefire way to blow up your relationship. But go make more friends, go meet more people, go do more things that are going to enrich your life so that you can build a council of people who can support you when you have difficult situations just like this. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, share with someone who you think could benefit from this information, and follow me on social media. You can find me at Patterns of Possibility on all social media. And I go live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch me and learn more about these social connections and interact with other people who are looking for the meaningful connections, who share the same kind of stories, and be in community. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at patternsofpossibility.com, where you will get actionable steps delivered to your mailbox every week. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, take care.